Right. I mean, just before we keep going, what would it even mean to regulate open source? I'm not even sure I understand the premise.
Well, okay, so I mean, I guess like even in the EU, there's some laws that you have to like you could be held liable for like
As a
defects.
maintainer?
Well, so this is where there's been some talks on this, and what I have to go back and look because I'm not 100% sure, but this is a pretty big deal where it's like there's been a lot of talk about hey, if you have software bug that causes something like the log4j thing, or something like that that is so prevalent and it causes issues, we should be able to say like, yeah, it's on the vendors who created those problems. I don't believe that.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
like there's
Yeah, no, I think that is true,
Crazy.
right? And right? I mean, a lot of open source, I think that's like in many, hey, this software is provided with no warranty, right? And use at your own risk, right? And I think in this case, like you have to, in my opinion, recognize the difference between the creators, right, and the vendors. Right, so I totally understand when you say, well, the government, we want to make sure the people who provide the products to end users, products to end users, right, then out there, well, same as you are requested, you to have like a car, certain quality, right, which passes certain tests, right, and if things go bad, you may be liable for that. The same applies to open source, but that is somewhere on you to have a proper contract, same as you do with the metallic stuff, right? Like, hey, you know what? I have airbags, for example. Somebody is responsible for making sure that is.
Yeah, as soon as you're accepting money, you're accepting some responsibility, some liability for what happens. But I can't even imagine. When I was putting out some of my own projects, like I didn't realize that Adobe was going to be using them, or these bigger companies. They just showed up and said, hey, your shit is broken. You need to fix these things because it's affecting us. I can't imagine if they were coming to me on GitHub and said, hey, we're actually going to be suing you because your shit is broken. Oh my God, can you, I can't even imagine being in that situation. It'd be insane.
Yes, well, I mean, I'm hopefully it's not going to get to that. But again, like, with my, I think that is one of the unfortunate thing about this generation, right? I think is what you look at in this case, like, I think young people, right, because of, like, in many places, right, computer science is taught in school even those days, right? They understand software much better. But in many cases, you're like a lawmakers who are from older generations. They only have like a very superficial ideas about the software, internet, and so on. And it scares shit out of me, right? What they can come up with.
Very true.
Yeah, because you're applying people who might not necessarily know the industry, and you're applying it to, an industry that is a bit of a renegade, right? No pun intended, but I don't know.